It's your kid's favorite app, but TikTok is about much more than dances and beauty advice. The influential Chinese-owned app is getting into American politics. The app has more than 1 billion active users and 100 million of them in the United States, most users under the age of 30. 67% of teens between 13 and 17 say they've used the app, with 16% saying they use it almost constantly. Now, the app's head of U.S. safety, Eric Hahn, writing about all the ways that they plan to help users as the midterm elections approach this November. Remember, they are owned by the Chinese. TikTok is rolling out an election center, teaming with the National Association of Secretaries of State and Ballotpedia, helping students by connecting them with Campus Vote Project and helping service members with information from the Federal Voting Assistance Program. TikTok says it is also building on lessons learned from the 2020 election. The app doesn't allow paid advertising. Hahn says community guidelines prohibit election information, and moderators removed 347,000 videos in the second half of 2020, they say, for misleading or manipulative election information. TikTok wants to give users access to what it calls authoritative information, which means fact-check from articles from reputable sources. But what exactly does that mean? Hahn writing, quote, "At TikTok, we take our responsibility to protect the integrity of our platform, particularly around elections, with the utmost seriousness." Did I mention that TikTok is owned by a Chinese company? TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is inevitably influenced by the Chinese government. What do they know about fair and free elections? Plus, there are security issues that haven't been addressed. Oh, and did I mention the app is owned by the Chinese? Back in 2020, then President Trump tried to ban the app in the U.S. over security concerns or have Byte Central sell it to a U.S. company. When that fell through, Trump then used an executive order to ban new downloads of the app, which was blocked by a judge. President Biden revoked the executive order, saying the federal government should evaluate software from foreign countries and address security concerns. Then in June, an FCC commissioner sent a letter to Apple and Google asking that TikTok be removed from those companies' app stores over its data collection policies. Brendan Carr calling TikTok's videos sheep's clothing to get at users' sensitive information. Those requests fell on deaf ears, and the app apparently remains in both stores. Joining me now is Morgan Wright, former senior advisor in the State Department Anti-Terrorism Assistance Program during the Bush administration. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. So should we be excited that Chinese-owned TikTok is now going to be making sure there's no election disinformation?
Yeah, sure. Just as soon as I can search for Tiananmen Square inside of China on TikTok and find videos about that, I think we'll have something here. But, you know, Dan.
Oh, and can I ask you about that, actually?
Yeah.
So you can't find right now videos of Tiananmen Square on TikTok?
Not inside China. You know, you can't find anything about Tiananmen Square. But that's my whole point. I mean, you've got the Chinese Communist Party creating doctrine that flows down to companies who are required to cooperate with the government, required to pass on information, required to pass on technology to the government. You've got them passing on doctrine. So what TikTok ends up being is the biggest, not in a true sense of a false flag, but it's a false flag from the standpoint, it's not a social media app. It's a propaganda tool disguised as a social media app. It's the biggest influence operation we've seen in the world, and it far outperforms what the Internet Research Agency did in 2016 during our elections, where they only spent $250,000, and it had a massive effect in terms of the influence. So, look, this is run by China. No matter what the U.S. side of this says, you cannot trust what they say. They either lied to Congress or they were lied to when they told Congress that they didn't collect information. And right now, I think some of the latest reporting, Dan, shows that over 300 people who work at TikTok, based on LinkedIn profiles, either work for Chinese state media or still currently work for Chinese state media. So do I want them moderating anything to do with our election? No.
So why would U.S. nonprofits get involved with TikTok during this election?
Yeah, you know, Dan, I think it comes back to I don't want to say that I know what they're thinking, but I mean, it stands for like they want some kind of social validation. They want influence. They want to be able to reach 100 million people. They want to have some piece of what's going on. And look, with 100 million people in the U.S. and 1 billion worldwide, there's a lot of money in advertising. There's a lot of money to be made on that platform, which is done all the time with these social media influencers. So, you know, and they may think of it too, hey, look, we work with everybody. I get that. But at some point you have to say, look, I may work with everybody, but I'm not going to work with Hamas or Hezbollah when it comes to talking about peace, you know, in certain areas. So, I mean, you have to make a distinction between China, and not the people, but the Chinese Communist Party, their rule over companies like ByteDance, Tencent, and TikTok, and the influence that will have, because it's not a 2-year thing, Dan. It's these 14-year-olds you're talking about will be 18-year-olds in 4 years. They will be voting based on what they see in TikTok.
I've got 20 seconds, but you're convinced the Chinese government has control in the end over U.S. TikTok?
Absolutely. There's no way that they would allow a application this size and this big to get out there without having some control, some influence over the people who are in there. And whether it's back door or front door, at the end of the day, the Chinese Communist Party will get its message out incrementally through TikTok.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.